بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the help of Allah, we began a brief commentary of Quran. We got to chapter Maeda, the 5th chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina. It has 120 verses. Please listen to verse 5.
اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم والمحصنات من المؤمنات والمحصنات من الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم إذا آتيتموهن أجورهن محصنين غير مسافحين ولا متخذي أخدان ومن يكفر بالإيمان فقد حبط عمله وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين.
This day all the good things are allowed to you, and the food of those who have been given the book is lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them, and the chaste from among the believing women and the chaste from among those who have been given the book before you are lawful for you. إذا آتيتموهن أجورهن محسنين غير مصافحين ولا متخذي أخدان ومن يكفر بالإيمان فقد حبط عمله وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين. When you have given them their dowries, taking them in marriage, not fornicating, nor taking them for paramours in secret. And whoever denies faith, this work indeed is of no account, and in the hereafter he shall be one of the losers. In previous section, we talked about the beginning of this verse. At the beginning of this verse, Allah said that the foods are the clean foods, pure foods, are allowed for you. The Muslims can have the pure food. And Allah mentioned one example, the food which belonged to the followers of Old Testament or New Testament, the food of Christians and Jews, and we said their food is allowed to the Muslims. It means the food that has no meat, and we talked about it, not the food that has meat in it, because the meat should be slaughtered in Islamic way. We reach to this sentence that Allah says, وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. Allah says also, it is allowed to you and it is lawful to you to marry the muhsanat min al-mu'minat, the chaste from the believing women. It means when you find a believing woman which is pure and chaste, you can marry her. وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And also a woman which she is chaste from the followers of the book. It means either a Christians or Jew, it is allowed to marry. First of all, regarding to first part, that Allah says, وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. When Allah says muhsanat, it means chaste, pure. A lady that doesn't commit adultery, didn't commit adultery, and she is very pure, you can marry when she is one of the women, believer women. This is very obvious and there is nothing to talk about it. But here there is a question. Okay, it means if a lady is a believer, is a Muslim, but she is not very clean, she was not very clean, even she committed the adultery, it is not allowed to marry her? No. In Islam, we believe that still you can marry her, but we understand from the narration, from Sunnah. The narration says, yes, also you can marry such a lady. But since Allah was talking about at-tayyibat, anything which is clean, Allah has mentioned one example for that. The example is al-muhsanatu min al-mu'minat. It means a chaste from the believing women is pure and clean and you can marry. But this verse, this sentence doesn't say if she is not a chaste woman, is not very clean, you are not allowed and it is forbidden to marry. No, it doesn't say anything. In Arabic they say لا مفهوم لللقب أو الوصف. Wasf or laqab, the title does not have mafhum. Mafhum, it means it doesn't say the opposite side is wrong. And we understand from narrations that yes, still you can marry to a lady that she has committed adultery. But it is better to marry a lady who is pure and clean. Next part, وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And also a chaste woman from the followers of the book. It means among the Christians, a lady that she is a Christian or Jew. Can we marry or not? This verse says yes. We know that we have two different types of the marriage: temporary marriage and permanent marriage. This verse doesn't talk about it, only it says you can marry them. But as we understand from narrations, and Shia scholar says, they say you can marry with them temporary. But permanently we have narration that you cannot take a lady who is a Christian or Jew, you cannot marry them permanently. This is the majority of Shia scholars. But still, there are some Shia scholars who says even permanently you can marry them, as Quran says, and it is general, and they don't believe in the narration that says you cannot marry them permanently. So, temporary, yes, this verse, when we have narration that permanently you cannot marry, and this verse is general. It says you can marry a lady who is chaste and from the followers of the book, either Christians or Jew you can marry. When the narration says the permanently you cannot marry, it means this verse goes only for temporary. You can marry them temporarily. And also, some interpreters of Quran said also the sentence that says إِذَا آتَيْتُمُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ, when you give them their dowry. Ujur is a plural of ajr. Ajr means reward, means the price. They said ajr anytime about the nikah marriage. They say ajr, it means something which is temporary. Otherwise, for the permanently, they don't say the word of ajr. Some scholars say from this sentence also we understand that the marriage that Allah allowed is a temporary, because after that Allah said, but you should give the dowry. Okay. After that, Allah says, إِذَا آتَيْتُمُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ, when you give them their dowry. We know that it is obligated in the marriage, either permanently or temporary, to choose something as a dowry. some amount of the money, a piece of land, a piece of even one house, one car, one ring, even some books, anything that has a value. They can put it as a dowry, and it is obligated. It doesn't mean that if the husband, and it means dowry, it means the husband should accept that will give something to the wife in future. If he doesn't give, it is forbidden, but still the marriage is correct. So, إِذَا آتَيْتُمُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ, Allah says it is allowed to you when you give their dowry. It means it is obligated to give their dowry. In permanent marriage or temporary marriage, there should be dowry, and the husband should give the dowry to the wife anytime she requests. Then Allah says, غَيْرَ مُصَافِحِينَ وَلَا مُتَّخِذِي أَخْدَانٍ, but you should not commit adultery. It is allowed to marry them, either Muslims, believers, or among the women who are Christians or Jew. You cannot commit adultery, غير مصافحين ولا متخذي أخدان, and you cannot take them as only the loved one, the sweetheart, and be with them and enjoy. It is forbidden. The rest of the verse, inshallah, in next section, I'm going to talk about it. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.